Although the summer has been beautiful, it's also been so incredibly dry. It hasn't rained since the spring, and every day was hot and sunny. And finally, last night, it rained. In the summer months, the rain is a big gift because we have so many wildfires. It really helps to wet the earth, and everything becomes so green and beautiful. And I just love it so much. The rain is just such a gift. If you live somewhere where it doesn't really rain very much, then you understand. Just drinking a coffee right now. I'm so excited the chamomile is finally ready. Fresh chamomile smells like nothing I've ever smelled before in my life. I want to try to harvest as much as I possibly can to dry it and save it for the winter because chamomile tea is really good. The other day I was walking up in the mountains and I found some wild rose hips, and I might go back to that location actually and harvest some of them. And then I can do rosehip chamomile tea because that would be really special. It's just like an interview.
So what brings you here today? An interview.
On the floor. I'm getting a pretty early start this morning. I have just so many chores to do. I'm trying to get them all done. Oh my gosh. The sky right now is just incredible. I'm trying to spend as much time as possible outside while it's still warm, especially these summer mornings. It's just so beautiful. It's really nice to walk up to this little forested area just to sit. It feels like kind of cozy in here, especially in the morning. My main goal for the rest of the summer is to just really prepare myself for the winter time. I know it's pretty far in the future, but last year it really just like came so quickly and it caused a lot of stress and I just wasn't ready. So this year I'm really starting early. I'm gonna try to preserve and ferment and harvest as many things as possible from the garden right now because there's just so many things that need to be harvested. The biggest thing honestly is to just have all the things that I need already here, especially like the bulk things and the heavier things. We get snowed in and I don't have a way to plow the driveway, so it's about a mile walk into the house from where I have to park. Already having all of the heavy things here so I don't have to lug as much stuff on the sled will be really nice. This is where the garlic was planted, and since we just harvested that, I'm going to plant kind of like a fall winter crop here. Just want to get like some of these main weeds out before I do that. But going forward with this garden, I'd really like to get to a point where I can extend the growing season and have things that are like ready to harvest all year long. I guess it's a little bit harder in the winter months, but I know that if you do have a pretty good greenhouse system going on, you can definitely extend your growing season. So going forward, I'd like to focus more on that. Just planting things that store well in cold storage and are okay to be growing when it's a little bit colder. Hands and feet are very dirty, but feeling satisfied to get some stuff in the ground. It always feels good to finish a task that you've been meaning to do for a while. Truly the best feeling in the world is having fresh laundry hanging, especially fresh bed sheets. Just the best feeling. I'm trying to preserve as much things as possible from the garden. So right now I'm fermenting some beets, cabbage, and garlic. And this I'll probably end up eating like throughout the winter time. I'm gonna try to do like more batches of this. It just takes so long. It takes like 2 hours for me to like prepare everything, get all the ingredients weighed out. You have to make sure that you weigh everything in order to calculate the correct salt amount that you need. If you don't have enough salt, it's not good because your fermentation can go moldy. Right now I'm just trying to like push it down and try to get the water line over the vegetables because that also is a very important thing to do. This morning I am on a hunt for some rose hips. I saw some the other week and now I'm trying to remember where that was. I just got done chopping wood and I swear I like sweat an entire gallon of water out of me. It's just hot and like, I don't know, like muggy I guess you would say. Hot and muggy maybe. I think the smoke is just trapping all the heat in. Why is this so... Ugh. Why? A thunderstorm is happening right now and we haven't had power in about a day. So it's been a little bit crazy here. I gotta go cover this wood because it cannot get wet. So I'm gonna run over here and do that really quick. I think the biggest thing with no power is just not having any water because we have a well and the well is basically powered by electricity. So not having water has been tough. We've been going down to the river and pumping it, but it's just been a lot of work to do all of that. Okay, let's cover this wood here. Should we wash it in the river or what do you think? Here, you wash, I'll pour.
Baby's birthing through our room, thrown on the table, carved out the moon, a symbol, something to show our moon was born in your river.
It's been a couple days and the power is still out. The biggest thing that I'm worried about is the garden looks extremely dry because it hasn't been watered. So I think I'm just gonna start hauling buckets of water from the river up to the garden, which is gonna be a lot of work, but I don't really know what else to do at this point because things are starting to not look so good.
Not as right.
Yes. I spent the beginning of this week spinning this into yarn. Now I'm threading it through my loom, and I'm going to weave it into like kind of like a blanket type sweater for the winter time. Hopefully it will keep me warm. I don't have very much time right now, so I'm gonna be doing this like kind of on the side, so it might take me a little bit before I finish. I have a bunch of these overripe peaches, so I'm going to boil them down and make a jam out of them, and then I'm going to pour them into these little jars here and then can them, which is really amazing because peaches are my favorite fruit, and then having peach jam all winter will be really nice, to be honest. Especially these peaches, they're so incredibly sweet. I've actually never had such a delicious peach in my life. We picked these earlier this week, and they all just got so ripe so quickly. When you make jam, you usually have to add something called pectin. I'm not using this, but instead, I'm using the juice of a couple of lemons. Every 4 peaches, I'm using 1 lemon, so I have like 12 peaches, so I'm using 3. 4, 8, 12, yeah. I'm using 3 lemons, and I have 12 peaches. So the jam is basically ready to put in the jars now. I'm gonna take these hot jars out of the pot. Dump out all the water, and then place them right here. So now that all the jam is in these jars, I'm gonna clean the sides really well, because you really don't want any sort of jam on the rim of the jar. This entire row of plants is actually basil, which is just so ridiculous how much basil I grew. I'm gonna harvest as much as I can and then use some of the garlic that we grew and make a bunch of pesto and then freeze it. Basil is definitely one of the best smelling plants. Oh, it smells so good. Wow. Basically what I'm putting in this pesto is just a ton of basil and then the juice of 1 lemon. Probably about 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add probably like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. When I built the tiny house, I had quite a bit of trouble lifting up the outdoor sheathing, which is basically the plywood that goes on the outside. So for this build, I decided it would be a good idea to put the sheathing on while I'm framing it on the ground and then lift it up. But then I realized a 20-foot wall with sheathing on it is quite heavy. Me and Logan just couldn't lift it ourselves. My dad's gonna come out here tomorrow or the next day, I think. So we're just gonna wait for him and hopefully we can lift it with 3 people. The idea was a good idea, but not enough people here. Okay. But here
Did you lift?
I can't really. My arms aren't strong. Anyways, so no building for a couple days until we get that wall lifted. Such a nice morning today. I just can't even believe it. I'm currently on the hunt for some elderberry. This is around the time when the elderberry is starting to ripen, and I want to make sure that I can harvest as much as possible because elderberry is like one of the most healing herbs and medicines in the world. It can do so many different things, and it just grows wild all over the place around here.
Sleep, little baby, our minds electric and safe. Sleep tight as I belong, beside the tame and let it go. House at sea, she's mellow.
I'm hiking kind of up in the hills where I don't usually go because I remember last year I found some around this area, but I'm also not as familiar with it, so I'm not really sure where it was. I just can't remember. So tired, but gorgeous this morning. The clouds are amazing. I didn't find any elderberries, but I've never been to this area of the mountains before, and it's gorgeous. Wow, being off top of these rocks is like I can see the entire world. Oh my god. These mountains and just nature in general just like brings all my energy back to me. It just feels so good. Wow.
No, definitely not.
Here's your son.
He's gonna be my son. Thank you.
He was eating your cobbler? Mm-hmm. Nice try, kitty cat.
Well, we have a little dinner and needs a little dessert now. Gets gypped out. So,
God, this is heavy.
I know.
Aaron, don't stand on the other side. Why is it moving? You're hitting the 2x4. Okay, we gotta come. Okay, just stand it straight.
So just on the door frame needs more? What else? Okay.
But use a nail gun, and then these have to be nailed every like 4 inches.
The plywood?
Plywood is good. Or just cut them down and use them on a wall. Something.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't need to do that because there's a plate on top. And you really want to break those where there's a
Break what?
the
Oh,
topper.
yeah.
You want it to be on one of the. Other than that, it looks good.
That is really not good. You see that smoke? It looks like there's a forest fire. And that is so close to where we are. So there's a fire about 2 miles away. We're not really sure at this point if we're gonna have to evacuate. Wind is strong today,
Yeah, it's
so it could be coming. Wind is never good when there's a fire close by.
there was like 13 planes that flew over yesterday.
Oh yeah, tons of planes yesterday flying over, dropping water. Yeah. Most important thing that we'll grab when we evacuate is the cats. We'll have to pack all of our things. Yeah, a fire 2 miles away. Not sure what's gonna happen.
Scared.